The views and opinions expressed in this program are not necessarily those of Union Broadcasting Inc., ESPN 1510, or its employees. The host is solely responsible for the on-air content.
This is KC Cares, Kansas City's window on the nonprofit community. We are produced by Charitable Communications. We'll tell the stories of Kansas City nonprofits and the people behind them. KC Cares is proudly sponsored by the Ewing Marion Kaufman Foundation. Bobby is not with us today, but I have the best guy in the world trying to fill in.
Trying.
He's going beyond. You go beyond, Matt Stewart.
Oh, so much pressure. Thank you, Ruth.
WDAF Fox 4's Matt Stewart, who you see out and about in Kansas City at all kinds of things. You get to do really some fun stuff.
Yeah, in fact, it was interesting when you said Ewing and Marion Kaufman Foundation. I was doing the Royal story the other day about the possible sale.
Right.
And Mark Alford kept saying Marion Kaufman was the former owner instead of Ewing Kaufman.
Oh, my gosh.
And
He's
guess
rolling
what?
over in his grave.
But guess what, Ruth? Mark Alford, on air, said, I was wrong. I think it's the first time I've ever heard him say that.
Oh, my gosh. That was a historic moment.
It was.
I think you should play that back often. I'm sure it gets played back often in the newsroom.
It should be.
Everybody will love that. Oh,
we
my
love Mark.
gosh.
We love Mark. It's just giving him a hard time.
And you put it in red so that you would have it on your calendar
That's
forever,
right. The day he was wrong.
Absolutely. Well, that other voice that you're hearing is that of Roberta McArthur, who is director of One Good Meal, this fabulous, fabulous program that I learned about, actually, from somebody who used to work at Fox 4.
Who's that?
Little whisper in my ear. Cindy?
Oh, yeah, Cindy. Yeah, she's a former executive producer, but she worked dayside, so I never really
You
saw
never
her.
got to see her. Well, she little whispered this in my ear, and I'm so excited to have Roberta and talk about this amazing organization. And joining you, or joining us, is Jamie Dodrell.
Hi.
Jamie. We have a bonus guest, which is the best, and she is about to embark on a similar program up in the Northland. So let's first dive in and let's learn, Roberta, about One Good Meal. Everybody likes One Good Meal, so what's this about? Are you having us for dinner?
Well, I can arrange that.
I bet you can.
Actually, it's lunch, but we can shuffle that. One Good Meal is in the Lee Summit and Greenwood area. We feed lunch to someplace between 110 and 130 seniors 5 days a week. These are people who either cannot or do not fix their own meals. We're probably, 23 years old, and one of the best kept secrets in the Kansas City area because we do not advertise. We do not have a brick and mortar presence. My office is a Tupperware container that I carry around everywhere.
That's what you told me. I hope it's the most beautiful Tupperware container you've ever seen.
No, it's kind of cheap and trashy looking, actually.
Used and abused.
Haven't had the extras to replace it. And that's what we do. Everybody in One Good Meal is a volunteer. We don't pay anybody for any of the efforts that they put forth. And my volunteers are the absolute most fantastic people you've ever seen. In fact, that's how Jamie got started. She volunteered for One Good Meal and fell in love with it. Once you've driven for One Good Meal and met some of our people, it's like, okay, I don't mind having 100 grandparents. This is pretty cool, actually. And she wants to do that in Smithville.
So how did this all start?
I was in an automobile accident and had a severe concussion. I was on crutches. I looked like an irate raccoon, could not wear my glasses, and I lived on my mother's sofa because it was close to, the bathroom, basically, let's be honest. We had an opportunity to go to a craft class with our church. I opted out of it because A, I would have to have walked, and B, I couldn't wear my glasses or see anything, so I figured that was probably a bad idea. Mom went to pick up a lady that wanted to go. She was 93 years old, and her name was Carolyn. When my mother got there, she found out that Carolyn had broke her hip, and they sent her home without a lot of assistance. And you have to remember, this is a quarter of a century ago, 25 years. My mother, growing up, did your mother ever have that tone of voice where you didn't ask questions, you just got up and did whatever she said?
Doesn't every mother have
Yeah,
it? And
all
every
moms are like
father.
that.
And
Well,
all fathers.
Yes. Well, Mom came through the front door with that tone of voice, and there I am on the couch with my crutches, and she said, "Fix me a lunch." And I'm, okay, right. We'll balance them on my nose and hope for the best. And I made grilled cheese sandwiches and tomato soup for her to take back to Carolyn because she could not cook. She was very confused because her kids had gotten her a really nice TV for her kitchen. No concept that it was a microwave.
Oh, my gosh.
And at that time in Lee Summit, the only people that delivered were Pizza Hut. And at 93, you can't live on pizza. Shoot, at 23, you shouldn't live on pizza. But she couldn't get food delivered. So Mom took it on. And we delivered meals to her. And we're trying to figure out whether this is something that's a once-ever problem in Lee Summit or whether it's a bigger problem. So we contacted Meals on Wheels. They do the most outstanding job at what they do. I can't say enough about the organization because they are that good. But they aren't that big. They are limited on what they can serve and their driving area. They help the most at need seniors, and I help everybody else because I don't have a limit to the number of meals I can feed people with. All I'm limited is by the number of drivers I have, and I have 11 every single day. Yeah. So we found out that they had a 75-person long waiting list, and Carolyn was number 76.
Oh.
You had to have met my mother. Betty McNaught is a wonderful lady. She was moved heaven and earth if she felt like it was a righteous cause. So, on my crutches, that summer, I delivered to 5 women to make sure that we knew what we were doing. And we proved to ourselves that one meal a day makes your medicines work better for you. When you take a drug, even something as mild as a Tylenol, it has to dissolve and work on something. If there's no food in your stomach, it works on your stomach. And seniors who don't eat can come up with a lot of problems because of that. One of the things we tell the caregivers is you have to watch them once they start having regular meals and regular nutrition because they won't need as much medicine in many instances because their body will take care of it differently. And that's what we do. That 5-minute stop, that hello, how are you? Here's your lunch. We're so glad to see you. Is the difference between a long, lonely day and a pretty easy one. And it reassures the caregiver that at noon, everything was fine. They recognized who we were. They knew what was going on. Mind was clear. They were healthy. Life was good.
Well, that's a big deal because a lot of these senior citizens that might live alone, right? Maybe family doesn't check up on them every day. If something happens and then no one checks up on them for 3 or 4 days, I mean, that could be the difference between life or death. So to have one of your volunteers or yourself swing by every day and say, "Hey, Mrs. Jones, how are you doing today?" and making sure that they're there and healthy and doing okay, I mean, that could be a lifesaver. I'm guessing some of your drivers have run across maybe some medical emergencies that they've had to take care of. You yourself, it sounds like.
When someone signs up for One Good Meal, I have rules. And I'm really mean and nasty and vicious about it. I realize you don't see that right now, but I can be really a pain in the neck. One of them is if they cannot be there for any reason in the world, call me and let me know. It's very expensive to break down a door. The police look at you really, really weird when you ask them to take the door off the hinges. Something about breaking and entering. Fire department won't do it. I'm just telling you. But if I feel that my senior is on the floor on the other side of that door or is unable to come to the door, I am going to figure a way to get in. We've only had to do it a couple times. Both of them were necessities, unfortunately. But that's the rule. If you can't be there, you have to let me know. I don't want to break in.
You're not paying for that, right? You're like, I warned you, I'm not paying for a new door.
Actually, we did.
Yeah, you did.
Well, they're seniors. If they can't afford to pay for their food, how can they buy a door?
Right, right. So where do these folks come from? Do they call in and make a reservation? Do they go to your website? I mean, how do you find them?
The answer to that is yes.
All the above.
All the above. We rely solely on word of mouth. I do not advertise. My website, because it's very cheap, is the only advertising that we do. But the VA hospital knows about me, and they know what we do for veterans.
Well, Meals on Wheels, I'm guessing, refers people too.
Absolutely, and I send folks to them.
Yeah.
As soon as I find out that Ruth can't chew food anymore, it all has to be chopped up and mushed. I don't do that. I don't give you salt free.
Well, that's a good question, because I'm kind of interested. What is for lunch? Is it grilled cheese and tomato soup every day, or do you mix it up a little bit?
Oh, honey. Today they had a pork loin with cheddar cheese and broccoli rice casserole and green beans, a hot roll, and a homemade cookie.
And you make this in your kitchen?
Wrong again.
Okay, how do you get this food then?
You like giving me a hard time, don't you, Roberta?
You're not doing well today.
No, 0 for 2.
Okay. My food comes from Hy-Vee. The Hy-Vee in Lee Summit, it's Hy-Vee number 1 over on Rice Road, has been my longtime partner. As soon as we exceeded the 5 people and found out that there are rules about feeding more than 5 people as a guest in your home, we had to find a dietitian. They're expensive, so we found someone who had a dietitian on staff who would cook for us, and that's Hy-Vee. Mm-hmm. And they have been my partners for 24 years now.
Wow. Salute to Hy-Vee for doing that.
They're wonderful. They go above and beyond. I will give them recipes, and they will go, and you want this for 100 and how many? And revise the recipe, and we'll taste it. And if everybody likes it, it goes on the menu. And if nobody likes it, we don't do that one again.
So it's Monday through Friday they do this. They prep all those meals for you. And
Right.
then your volunteers come pick them up? And
We meet at the Martin Luther Lutheran Church at 1200 Southwest Blue Parkway. It is the most controlled chaos you have ever seen for 20 minutes. And that's it. The food gets there at 10:30, and by 10 minutes of 11, everybody is out the door and on their way to deliver food. And in that time, we bag up the bread, the cookies, the meals, sort them into the proper containers, and they are out the door. And then I have an hour to sit there and look at the walls, trying to figure out who's going to make it back first. Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm interested in your protege taking this up to Smithville area. Have you started? How's that going to work?
Yeah, what's going on, Jamie?
Even though that Miss Roberta says that she is not brick and mortar, we actually are going to be brick and mortar. We are working in a small office space, getting things together right now. We are hoping to be up and running by no later than late fall. We're really excited. Like she said, I got started just volunteering, and you can't, unless you volunteer and understand what she's talking about, you cannot fathom the actual need for all of this. It is absolutely amazing. When I got started, it actually kind of broke my heart because I didn't realize how our seniors are left behind. And being only 40 years old, I started, I think when I was 39. And
You were just a baby.
I realized that, you know, there are so many great foundations that you can give to, but I feel that there are not enough that focus on our elderly. And what people don't understand is that they lay out a road for us to become the future. So how is it that they get forgotten? And some of the sad stories that brought me to this point was there was a story she told me where a lady had to actually be rescued. They went in and she was eating cat food because that was the only thing that she could afford was to eat cat food. And it was the wet, nutritious, like you're eating tuna. And it's terrible. And she has what are known as white nights that actually she called up and they went in and they filled this woman's house for about 3 months of groceries to make sure that she could get what she needed on her medication end and to make sure that she was healthy and she didn't have to eat what she needed to feed her cat.
Little known fact, cat food is twice as nutritious as dog food.
Oh, that's interesting
And
to
it
note.
is the most affordable substitute for a real meal for our seniors.
Which is terribly sad. And most people don't know this, that this is what they go to. So, she is so relaxed on not really bragging about the organization. But to get to a heart-loving point, this wonderful woman has been able to help give nutrients to people that have cancer. And there was a gentleman that wouldn't eat. He refused to eat. And Roberta went in and force-fed him. She went herself and gave this gentleman a meal, and he was able to come out with the proper nutrients and medication and was doing so much better.
So if people want to become part of either one of your organizations, where should they go?
Call me.
Well, give us a number so they know.
816-547-6394. And if they are in the Smithville area and they want to help, because there can only be one first volunteer, guys, I will be more than tickled to pass that on to Jamie, and she will contact you within seconds.
And Matt's got some information on an event that's coming up to help support you.
Well, I was going to say, a lot of people are driving right now, so you probably don't want them writing while they're driving.
That would be a bad idea.
But if they go to onegoodmeal.org, right, they can probably get the number there. And then, of course, you have this Gin and Jazz little celebration going on September 21st, which is downtown Lee Summit between 2nd and 3rd Street. That looks like a lot of fun. Jazz and gin. $40 per person, $45 the night of, and $350 for a table. All the proceeds benefiting One Good Meal. What a great organization, and thank you so much for sharing it with us.
You guys are amazing. Thank you for showing why KC cares and how philanthropic our community is.
It's amazing. It's just absolutely amazing how much people care about each other.
Inspired by Ewing Marion Kaufman, the Kaufman Foundation believes that every person, regardless of their background, can take risks, achieve success, and give back to their communities. We work together with our Kansas City community and beyond through investments in education and entrepreneurship that create uncommon solutions. By listening first to the communities we serve, we seek to understand the problems and dream big with people to build innovative programs that deliver results. Ewing Kaufman worked hard to make Kansas City a major league city. We strive to continue that legacy today, challenging ourselves and our community to take calculated risks, solve problems, and help empower people to shape their future. Learn more at Kaufman.org.
Malnutrition claims the lives of an estimated 3.5 million children every year. That's 1 every 6 seconds. Many families struggle to survive on what amounts to nothing more than bread and water. But this condition is both preventable and treatable. Starve for Attention is the latest global malnutrition campaign launched by Doctors Without Borders, Médecins Sans Frontières, also known as MSF. Created in 1971, MSF now provides aid to people in more than 70 countries. To highlight the world's malnutrition hotspots, MSF, with support from LG Electronics, collaborated with the photo agency 7 to produce a series of groundbreaking documentaries. To raise awareness, they will be shown around the globe on LG Infinia TVs. To watch the series online anytime and to learn how you can join MSF and LG Electronics in the fight, visit starvedforattention.org and LG.com. A public service message from Doctors Without Borders, Médecins Sans Frontières, with the support of LG.
Whether you're trying to figure out how to pay off a student loan or how you're going to pay for retirement, the tough economy is affecting all of us. The National Foundation for Credit Counseling wants you to know help is available for whatever kind of debt problem you're facing. The NFCC is a nonprofit organization with certified counselors who can show you how to make educated decisions. You're not alone. Call the NFCC at 800-388-2227 or visit debtadvice.org. This has been a public service from the NFCC.
Inspired by Ewing Marion Kaufman, the Kaufman Foundation believes that every person, regardless of their background, can take risks, achieve success, and give back to their communities. We work together with our Kansas City community and beyond through investments in education and entrepreneurship that create uncommon solutions. By listening first to the communities we serve, we seek to understand the problems and dream big with people to build innovative programs that deliver results. Learn more at Kaufman.org.
I'm Howie Mandel. Did you know attention deficit hyperactivity disorder in adults is a real and treatable medical disorder? I know because I am one of the estimated 10 million adults in the U.S. who have ADHD. The symptoms of ADHD, inattention, hyperactivity, and impulsivity make it difficult to pay attention and focus, be organized, complete tasks, and maintain relationships. I've been diagnosed with ADHD. In my life, I've often misplaced things and have found it difficult to sit down and read a script for work or even have a conversation. You know, the kind when you're actually listening without interrupting. It's never too late for adults to seek help for ADHD and find the right treatment plan. Get information at adultadhdisreal.com and take an ADHD self-screener. Talk to your doctor. The right treatment plan can help control your symptoms so you can stay focused and organized, get things done at home and work, and help improve relationships. Visit adultadhdisreal.com to learn more about adult ADHD. Don't let ADHD prevent you from achieving your goals. I haven't.
Driving means
freedom,
exploration,
fun,
pride,
flexibility,
protection,
ability,
friendship,
escape,
independence.
Distracted driving means
danger,
recklessness,
irresponsible,
chaos, police, devastation,
injury,
tears,
death.
Safe driving means staying alert and staying alive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to KC Cares, Kansas City's nonprofit voice and digital resource. We're helping organizations survive and thrive. We'll tell your story to our community. I'm Ruth Baum-Biggis, and I'm joined by
Matt Stewart,
Yay.
Fox 4 News.
I love it.
I just love my
it.
announcer voice. Whenever I'm in a radio, it's like, I should be talking like this.
No,
Then I sound silly.
I
so
like
I'm
both.
oh.
Well, I could make you break out in trouble. We're going to put that on our site. Matt, in his spare time, not right now, used to do a lot of musical theater and is very talented, quite talented.
Well, thank you. But with 3 kids, I have no spare time. So
you got
I just sing in the
trouble.
shower, and that's about it.
You got trouble.
Yeah.
You got 3 of them. We are jumping in now with a really cool event coming up and 2 organizations that are partnering together. What could be better for the community than food to help a good cause,
Good
right?
food, too.
Excellent food. We've got Greg Humsucker Jr. Have to have the junior, don't we? Kansas City Originals president and owner of V's Italiano.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, we're so glad to have you. And then we have Darrell Smith with the HeroFund USA. You are CEO and president.
That sounds pretty official, but thank you for having us.
Da, 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 da. You know, we've got to have official music there on our very robust budget. Sorry, just got me. But you all are working together, teaming up for an event that's coming up here in September.
Yes, we are.
Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, it's coming up Wednesday, September 11th. It's going to be called Red, Dine, and Blue. It's the 2nd year that we've done this with HeroFund. Kind of came together with Sam Silvio, who owns Mshamas Brazilian Grill up north. He is past president of our group, and he's on the board of HeroFund with Darrell. And he's also got a brother that's a fireman. And it's a great organization, HeroFund is, that helps first responders with equipment needs. And I'll let Darrell talk more about this later because he's much more versed in it than I am. But we figured what better way to partner up and bring attention to a great charity and get a lot of good food into the stomachs of the good people of Kansas City.
Well, I want you to share with our audience about KC Originals in case they haven't heard about you.
Sure. We're a group of about 40 to 50. The number kind of fluctuates sometimes, but we're all independently owned and operated restaurants right here in the Kansas City metro area. The group was established, I believe, in 2003, so it's got a pretty good history. And we like to band together just to do a lot of marketing and do charity events like this, help out some good organizations.
How many charity events do you all jump into during the course of a year?
We pretty much just do one big one every
One
year.
biggie.
This is HeroFund. In the past, we've done some stuff with Muscular Dystrophy Association, which I believe is where our relationship with Darrell actually comes from.
He's everywhere.
Yeah, but he's with HeroFund now, and he's our guy. So we like to support his charity.
Well, and I remember last year I did live shots for the Fox 4 Morning Show on this because it was the first year you had done it.
Yes.
How did it go? Was the response as much as you expected? Were people intentionally coming out and eating at these restaurants knowing they were helping a great cause?
They were, yeah. We did. We raised just over $16,500 last year.
That's great.
That was great, yeah. And I think we had about 60 participating restaurants. We're currently at 85, so we are anticipating a much bigger donation to HeroFund this year, which is exciting.
What's the percentage that goes?
10% of all sales for
Okay.
the day, whether it's lunch, happy hour, dinner.
So it's anything you eat that
Come in
day
and grab
at these
dessert.
places.
Absolutely. Yeah, anything you spend, 10% goes to HeroFund.
How do people know what restaurants are taking part in this? Is there like a website people should go to in order to say, yeah, I want to go to that restaurant because I know they're supporting it?
Yeah, KCOriginals.com is the website. Right when you get there, there's a big banner for HeroFund. You have to actually dismiss the pop-up, so you can't miss it. It's right there and real easy to find. So
yes, it is.
85
I saw it a
locations.
lot.
Yes.
I love the graphic. It's really colorful and it grabs your attention, and it's like, oh, I'm hungry, and it's 11:30, and can it be September 11th?
Well, you can come eat anytime, but September 11th is the day for the fundraiser.
Don't eat till September 11th.
Don't eat till September 11th, so you can go.
Be real hungry.
Can go help a great cause. Darrell, tell us a little bit more about the Hero Fund.
Well, the first thing I'd like to say is all of us at Hero Fund are humbled and proud all at the same time to have a great business partner like the members of the Kansas City Originals and really all of the 85-plus restaurants that are now registered to participate in Red, Dine, and Blue on 9/11. We are an organization. We're homegrown. We're based right here in the metro area. We may be called HeroFund USA, but we are based in Blue Springs. I with Sam Silvio, who Greg mentioned earlier, owns Chamas Brazilian Grill, and another dear friend of ours. We co-founded between the three of us HeroFund USA the day after Christmas at the end of 2016. And when we started, we initially thought our primary mission was going to be to raise money to have funding available to help families of first responders in times of line-of-duty death and critical injury. But before we ever even got started, we realized that while that's important and we do that also, the primary focus of our mission is to raise money to buy safety equipment to keep first responders from getting hurt in the first place. It seems that there were, at least in this market anyway, there were no other organizations out there paying attention to the safety equipment needs that first responders have that are and a lot, it runs the gambit from low-tech stuff like bunker gear that firefighters wear when they're running into a burning building to ballistic vests that law enforcement and now unfortunately firefighters need to wear too because they're rolling up on fire scenes and accident scenes and they're getting shot at too. So the low-tech wearable stuff like bunker gear and ballistic vests to high-tech stuff. We've now bought 4 drones for local law enforcement and fire service agencies. A drone is important because it can fly over an active shooter scene or any other active crime scene or an active fire scene, and it can go and look and see what's going on before actual first responders go in there to assess where the danger zones are, what they need to avoid, and be ready for what they're going to face so it's not unexpected. They know what they're looking at. So I tell people all the time, if a drone gets shot or a drone gets burned up, we'll buy them another one. We can't replace that officer or that firefighter. So we get into the high-tech stuff, thermal imaging cameras, radio communication equipment, drones, anything that will help a first responder to be able to go home to their loved ones at the end of their shift, keeping us and our family safe. That's what we're all about. Secondarily, we do have funding available to help families in times of line-of-duty death and critical injury. In fact, we did a telethon project on June 14th, and that very day, that afternoon, a Trenton, Missouri police officer was shot and critically injured, transporting an inmate for an evaluation at a hospital in St. Joe, and we were there the next morning at the hospital with our checkbook in hand to help her. Single mother, 24 years old, and we've developed a relationship with that whole department now. The chief is a good friend of ours. In fact, he's joined one of the committees, one of the leadership committees of HeroFund USA. So we are an organization of private citizens dedicated to help keep first responders safe, but we couldn't do it without the Kansas City Originals and all these restaurants that are participating in Red, Dine, and Blue on 9/11.
So, Darrell, last year we raised $16,000 on this day. What did that money go toward?
Since 9/11 last year, we have purchased bunker gear for 3 fire departments, ballistic gear for a fire department, actually. We've bought 4 drones for law enforcement agencies around the area, 1 drone for a fire department. Actually, we haven't written the check for that yet. They just ordered the machine, and as soon as they get it in, we'll pay. We'll be paying.
But these are like different fire departments. It's not just one fire department. You're looking at the needs of fire departments across the entire metro.
Yeah, specifically, Grandview, Missouri, we help them with funding a drone program, getting them into the drone program. Lee Summit Fire Department, Lee Summit Police Department, Chillicothe Police Department. We're working with the Sugar Creek Fire Department right now. Actually, the police department on a drone, and the fire department on some new bunker gear for them. So we've been buying ballistic vests, body armor, drones, thermal imaging cameras. One of the neater things we've done, and I would have never thought of this, but the Franklin County Sheriff's Department, which is in Ottawa, there's been a lot of flooding in the last couple of years, and they came to us requesting some swiftwater rescue safety equipment. Their sheriff's deputies were literally wading out into chest-deep water to save a stranded motorist that drove out into high water. And this officer is wearing a bulletproof vest, which is the opposite of a flotation device. They weigh about 27 pounds. And so they could very easily become the victim instead of the first responder trying to help. So we bought them these swiftwater rescue safety equipments, which has a throw rope, which is it's a bag and they throw the bag, and it's got the carabiners on both ends of it where they can throw that out to a stranded motorist. It comes with a very specialized life jacket that the first responder puts on, and there's all kinds of pockets and holsters for them. It comes with a helmet for them to wear, and it literally can save a first responder's life by not having to wade out into chest-deep water to rescue a stranded motorist. They can throw this rope bag to them. They grab a hold of the rope, wrap it around their waist, cinch it, and the first responder can pull them to safety from the shore and not have to get into the water.
How do you choose what departments you'll work with and what you're going to underwrite?
We have a services request tab on our website. It says request services. Any first responder department can click on that. It takes about 3 to 5 minutes to fill out the form, hit submit. It pops it into my inbox in my email. And then we have a mission committee that is comprised of a police chief, a fire chief, a paramedic, believe it or not, a chaplain with a police department, a fire department, and myself. And we screen all of the requests we get, make recommendations to our board. Our board meets quarterly. So far, knock on wood, our board has approved 100% of the requests that the mission committee has recommended to them. So we've not turned anybody down yet that has gone through the screening process with our mission committee. If it's legitimate equipment, we're going to find a way to fund it.
Darrell, I think the thing that, as a taxpayer, right, I'm thinking I pay my taxes. My taxes go to the fire department, the police department, paramedics, make sure they have the equipment they need. And it is frustrating, I would think, to realize that that's still not enough money to get what they need. It sounds like, because the stuff you're getting, these aren't, while you could say a drone is a toy, it's a life-saving device. And these are things that are making their job easier, helping save lives. Why isn't it in their budget in the first place? Why do they need this supplemental? It's just frustrating.
Well, that's a really good question, and the answer I give to that is drones aren't necessarily new technology, but if a department wanted a drone up until about 2 years ago, they would have to budget about $25,000 to $50,000 for the machinery, for the training, for the licensing, because you have to have a pilot's license to fly a drone for a first responder agency. So you had to spend $25,000 to $50,000. Well, now with all the advancements in that technology, the drones we're assisting with funding right now, a department can get into a drone program right now for about $5,000.
Oh, wow. That's great.
And so if they don't have it in the budget, we don't want them to have to wait a budget cycle or two for approvals to come through, because a lot of departments right now, a lot of cities have, spending freezes on, and they're trying to hold the line on expenditures. Well, if a drone will save a life, and it will, and we can help them spend $5,000 to get them into the drone program, and if it will save one first responder's life over the life of that machine, it's money well spent. We'll do that all day long. And there's other things too. There's new ballistic gear out there. 10 years ago, it was pretty unusual to hear of a law enforcement officer being shot with anything but a handgun, which the ballistic gear out there is pretty adept at being able to stop a handgun round. But now with all these assault rifles and other high-powered firearms out there, the normal standard issue ballistic vest with the plates in there generally won't stop a rifle round. these new ceramic plates that we've been helping departments with, they will stop just about anything. Not everything, but just about. They'll stop a high-power rifle round. And like I said, fire departments want that now too because they're getting shot at. Something interesting, kind of cool that we did recently is we've funded now body armor for a canine.
Oh, my goodness.
And also a system for the car that helps keep the canine safe and keep the human officer safe should he get out of the car or she get out of the car to help somebody and something goes badly. That officer can push a button on their vest and the dog comes running, pops open both the back doors on the car. The dog comes running ready to help.
That's great.
Wow. Greg, I wanted to go back to you. Are the restaurants planning on any special dishes thematically or anything tied to your Red, Dine, and Blue?
That would be up to the individual restaurant.
How about you?
We do not currently have anything in the works there, but I will say that Wednesday nights are one of my favorite specials at our restaurant. We do a sautéed pasta table right in the middle of the dining room. It's got 5 noodles, 7 sauces, and 18 ingredients. And the guests can mix and match and create their own pasta dish right there at the table. And the chef sautés it and brings it over to you.
Wow, that sounds like a carb load night.
Yeah, absolutely. And my favorite thing to tell people is if you don't like it, well, it's your own fault because you picked out the ingredients.
The wrong thing. Yeah, there you go.
It's absolutely wonderful. We've got a young lady that works at it for us every week, and she does a really good job with that.
So that's Red, Dine, and Blue on September 11th.
Did you just say bread, dine, and blue? It sounded like you said
Red,
bread.
Dine,
You're thinking
and
of
Blue.
food right now, aren't you, Ruth?
Yes, I had thrown in wine in there too, which was not part of the title, but maybe it will be next year. That'll benefit the HeroFund USA. You've got a couple of other activities. You guys are very busy with different fundraising activities. How can people help? Are there volunteer opportunities for you? Are there things besides writing the check, which is always a good thing to do?
Right now, one of the more important things they can do is pick their favorite restaurant that's participating in Red, Dine, and Blue and go there on 9/11. And any time during the day, if your favorite restaurant is on the list, if they're open for breakfast, you can go there then. If they're open for dinner, you can go there then, lunch, whatever. But beyond that, on our website, HeroFundUSA.org, there is a place you can communicate with us right there. You can hit the contact button. You can communicate with us and indicate your desire to become a volunteer or a sponsor. We have a donate tab on our website where you can make a donation to HeroFund USA through our website. And a new feature we just added a couple of months ago is you can text the word HeroFund, one word, HeroFund, to 44321 and make an online secure donation with your smartphone.
You're just up with all the technology. You're buying it, you're using it, you're making it easier. You know, for these first responders, you know, we reach out for veterans, which is, of course, very important, but also we've got all these folks here working in our communities, you know, trying to make our lives better and safer. So it's so great that you're doing that. And I really love that story. Send us the picture of the dog and its bulletproof vest. I think that's fascinating.
What an appropriate day, too, to have such a great event. You know what I mean? September 11th, it was just such a tragedy in our nation, and so many first responders perished. And so to be able to save lives now through organizations like this and cooperations like this is just wonderful.
You know, there were 343 firefighters that lost their lives on 9/11/01, and what a great tribute to them that the Kansas City Originals are doing this to raise money for safety equipment for first responders on 9/11/2019.
And we salute both of you. Thank you for what you're doing, and listeners, get out there and support this. You won't go hungry. We'll be back after this.
Inspired by Ewing, Marion Kaufman, the Kaufman Foundation believes that every person, regardless of their background, can take risks, achieve success, and give back to their communities. We work together with our Kansas City community and beyond through investments in education and entrepreneurship that create uncommon solutions. By listening first to the communities we serve, we seek to understand the problems and dream big with people to build innovative programs that deliver results. Ewing Kaufman worked hard to make Kansas City a major league city. We strive to continue that legacy today, challenging ourselves and our community to take calculated risks, solve problems, and help empower people to shape their future. Learn more at Kaufman.org.
You're not wired to have a response to this sound. You're neutral to it. You hear it every time you finish a meal and never feel anything. But if we were able to associate this sound with a new stimulus, save the food, we've achieved pulling a natural response from you. Save the food. Why are we doing this, you may ask? Save the food. Because this ad is trying to change your after-meal behavior through brainwashing. Because food waste costs the average family $1,500 a year. Save the food. Cha-ching. And $1,500 extra bucks is like getting a pay raise. Save the food. Cha-ching. You're promoted. Which could pay for your child's braces. Save the food. Cha-ching. You're promoted.
Check out my braces.
So when you hear this sound, rethink your behavior. Cook it, store it, share it. Just don't waste it. For tips and recipes, visit savethefood.com. Brought to you by NRDC and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Carl Edwards here for RAD, the entertainment industry's voice for road safety. You want to make a difference? It's simple. Be responsible. Plan ahead. Designate before you celebrate. Friends don't let friends drive drunk.
A public service message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
Inspired by Ewan Marion Kaufman, the Kaufman Foundation believes that every person, regardless of their background, can take risks, achieve success, and give back to their communities. We work together with our Kansas City community and beyond through investments in education and entrepreneurship that create uncommon solutions. By listening first to the communities we serve, we seek to understand the problems and dream big with people to build innovative programs that deliver results. Learn more at Kaufman.org.
Hey America, we are your pets, and this song's dedicated to those people who don't have health insurance yet.
Enroll, we say,
We want you to be okay. Enroll, we say, take care of people for goodness sake.
there's a plan for every budget, so don't accept defeat. Now you can get covered and still buy me treats.
Enroll!
So listen to me, a talking pug, you see. If you get health insurance, preventive care is now free.
So sweet. You take care of your pets. Now it's their turn to take care of you. Visit getcoveredamerica.org to learn about your health insurance options. That's getcoveredamerica.org. Brought to you by Get Covered America and the Ad Council.
We all know Goodwill. But did you know when you donate stuff to Goodwill, you help provide job training for people right here in your community? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Kansas City Cares. KC Cares, Kansas City's window on the nonprofit community and the people they serve. I'm Ruth Baum-Biggis, and my special guest, host, is none other than...
Matt Stewart. You act like you forget my name every time. You just say, my host, and then you stop. Like, why am I supposed to introduce myself, Ruth? You're supposed to introduce me. I'm the guest.
You have that quintessential voice I wanted them to hear.
Oh.
That television
Is that what
voice.
it is? Is a quintessential? Yep. What does that even mean? Quintessential.
Extra special.
Extra special.
That's what it
voice.
means to me.
Thank you.
Extra special. Its own identification.
I think of Quinn like 50, so I thought you meant like it sounded like a 50-year-old man.
Oh heck no!
And I'm 6 years away from that, so don't age me yet.
Oh, you give your age.
I just gave my age.
Welcome to the 60s. Oh, nope.
You just gave your age.
Yep. I did it. But we have a very young,
much younger than
talented
us.
woman
Much younger
who
than
is
us.
here, and we can't wait to share her story. We have Marsha Hall, who is the founder and executive director of AngelEyes Maternity Home. And I'm so glad to have you, Marsha.
Oh, thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
You bet. And we have Nancy Manning, who works with Marsha in this wonderful nonprofit, doing great work. Nancy, thanks for coming along.
You're welcome.
We're so glad to have you. They have bright, smiling faces. We'll take pictures so you all will get to see it. But I have to share a little bit of how I found Marsha. So we recently had the president of Johnson County Community College on the show, Dr. Sopcich, and he talked about the robustness of the college. And Matt, I don't know if you've had a chance really to kind of even just tool their website. There are so many programs.
So much stuff going on
and
there.
so much diversity in what they have to offer. So as I'm reading through this, here comes Marsha. She pops up. The whole screen is Marsha, and it was a story about the entrepreneurship program, which is where you started this whole effort with AngelEyes.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about that part of the journey, and then we'll dive into what you're doing with this fabulous home.
Actually, that journey took a turn. When I took the entrepreneurship program, my goal was to become a real estate guru. You know, I wanted to purchase real estate, have residual income coming in, fix up houses and things like that. So that's kind of where what I went to Johnson County for. I took that entrepreneurship to help me to start that business, and it changed. It completely changed. I was praying, you know, I want these properties. I want to be able to supplement my income. I'm at church, and then that voice came to me, was like, you're going to get those properties, but it's not going to be an investment. It's just that clear. It said it to me. It's going to be a shelter. And I was like, I ran up.
I'm getting chills right now.
Pastor,
okay, hold on a second. So you heard like God talking to you in church that was basically saying, you're not selling these. You need to turn these houses into shelters.
I tell you, just
that
as clear as I'm talking to you, that I was at the front of the church praying, you know, to God to help me get these properties. I needed something to help supplement my income. My daughter has kids, you know, I want to help her, things like that. And it came to me, just said, you're going to get it. You're absolutely going to get it, but it's not going to be an investment. It's going to be a shelter. And then the story continues after that. If you have goosebumps now, when I continue to tell you what happened.
What happened next?
So,
tell us.
So after that, I told my pastor about it. I'm like, okay, maybe a year goes by. And then all of a sudden, when you come out of my bedroom, there's a computer right there. Something told me to stop, get on that computer and look for houses. Why? I have no money, buy no house. What am I looking for a house for? So I did it. And then the house that we have for AngelEyes, it popped up. This 5-bedroom house, you know, 3 baths. And it's like, okay, this is perfect for a shelter, is what the voice was telling me. Me, being hard-headed, this is great investment.
How am I going to buy it?
Yeah, 5-bedroom. That's a good monthly rental income. So I decided I'm just going to go see it anyway. And when I walked through that house, that voice was telling me how to lay it out. You're going to do this, you're going to do that. This is going to be this, and this is going to be that. And I have a program that I purchased because I wanted to redo houses and figure it out like a floor plan, which I was planning on doing for my investment homes. So after I seen that property, I went home. I made the layout of it just the way that voice told me to. And when we did AngelEyes and we had our open house, is exactly like that plan. The only difference is the rooms were switched around. We had one yellow room and one blue room, you know, one on the left, one on the right. It was just switched around. But everything else is exactly the way that floor plan told me.
Wow.
And I didn't have the money.
How did you do
well,
that?
Yeah, without money.
That's where the real eerie part comes from. So the house was a certain price. I didn't have the money. And probably about a couple of weeks later, after I had already seen that house, no big deal, I get a letter. I used to do tech support for Liberty Mutual, their data center. So I get a letter from them stating, hey, you have this retirement plan. What do you want to do with it? You want monthly payments or you want this lump sum? I didn't even know I had a retirement plan. I haven't worked for Liberty Mutual in 4 years. Where did this come from? So it was giving me the opportunity to get this early retirement. That amount that I got was $1,000 less than the amount that they were asking for that house.
Oh my gosh.
So how's that?
I got chills again. Yeah, I got goosebumps again. I
tell you, it was... If it's not God talking to me, I don't know how else to explain it.
It reminds me of like Noah, you know, like build the ark. No, I'm not going to do it, but you do it. It's just, you know, when that voice is so clear in your mind and it sounds like everything, like you were just compelled to do what that voice was telling you, and it all turned out into exactly the way it was supposed to be.
Absolutely. That voice didn't tell me how hard it's going to be, though.
Okay, now we get
if it was easy, everyone would do it, you know.
Absolutely.
Now we get down to the realities of it. So you decided, I'm going to do this. God spoke to you. You're moving along. Why nonprofit? And how did you go about doing that? Because Lord knows that's not an easy journey either.
It really isn't. And I believe that everything that I went through, it was God preparing me for this because it's my life. 16 years old, I was homeless. I was pregnant. You know, I was sneaking into a building, a house, a hospital that was being renovated in Massachusetts. Come out during the day. I had a lot of friends. They were sending their little girls to me. I would braid their hair, put it in 2 ponytails, whatever, $2-3, put them on a school bus. That's how I bought food. And then at night, I would sneak into there and stay there. And then finally, I got caught. And someone told me about this shelter. You can go to this shelter, and I ended up getting into that shelter. And from there, everything completely changed. When I first went there, just like the girls I experienced through Angel Eyes, I had my guard up. I've been hurt so many times, been gone through so much abuse and all these different types of things growing up. You didn't trust anybody. You were scared. And I swear I was the worst person in that shelter, and the lady was so patient with me. I remember her, Sister Jean, she was an angel, because I was yelling. I threatened to jump over the desk and slap her and all kinds of horrible things, and she just looked at me and she said to me, you're just hurt. And she just simply said it to me so peacefully, and I just burst out in tears. And then after that, everything changed. She helped me. She's like, okay, this is what you have to do. You need to continue school. We're going to help you get into a home. You have a person that's going to be depending on you. And the whole time I never thought about it until she really made it clear that to me, that I have this life that's depending on me. So I just continue. I just went on, and I got my GED, and then I went to secretarial school and became doing secretarial work and stuff like that. And they got me Section 8. I had Section 8 housing, and I thought that was the end of it. Okay, I'm good. I'm set. And then one time I was at one of the companies I was working for, and I ran into a young lady who came to me, and she's like, okay, I need you to give me about an hour or so on your computer. And come to find out she did IT. I'm like, how do you get into IT? And she told me what I needed to do to get into IT. You never heard of a female in IT. I've never seen a female IT person. All these different companies I temped at, I've never seen it. And from there, I was like, wow, let me look into it. So I went and I started looking into that, and I went and got Microsoft certified and A+ and Network Plus. And then I went to college for information technology. And then I started getting better jobs. As I applied, I got an internship, then I got hired on, and then I got all these better jobs. And then within 4 to 5 years after I got out of the Section 8, I bought that exact same house that Section 8 was paying for me. So
good for
when
you.
I started Angel Eyes, it was like, if I can do this, if God put it in my heart to start this, it was for a reason. He put me through all of that to be able to give back to these young ladies that we bring into Angel Eyes. So my goal with Angel Eyes was not just to shelter them, to put them into a home, but to let them know that they can do more. Because you are a single mom does not mean that it's over. Does not mean that you have to be on Section 8 or housing and then remain there and only make a certain amount of money. The sky is the limit. You educate yourself, there's so many opportunities for you. And just like myself, you could end up buying that home. You could become a homeowner within a few years. And I just want to just let them see me and what I did and how I did it. Younger than them. Most of the girls that come in our home are 18. I was 16. So I try to just express it to them. And Angel Eyes it's like a home environment. When you come in, you feel at home. When I did Angel Eyes, I set it up and I decorated it like a home. My brother helped me when we did the renovating. Me and my brother did the entire renovating of Angel Eyes. We had to have someone come in and do the new electrical and plumbing, but everything else we did.
So see, you got to do that. You just did it
oh
in
my
another
God,
way.
I did it all. And he was like, Marsha, if you change wallpaper one more time. So I just wanted it to, when they walked in, they felt at home. I didn't want them, because they're already going through a lot. They're already scared. So I didn't want them to come into anything that felt cold, that felt just like robotic. I wanted them to walk in there and just feel good. I'm comfortable here. I'm at ease here. She treats me like a person. I didn't want to look at them. It's like, okay, well, you're homeless. No, you're experiencing homelessness right now, and we're here to help. So that's kind of how I've looked at it.
So how many young women do you have?
We can have 5 at a time.
And how does it, are you there all the time? How does it work?
Most of the time. Most of the time.
Do you have a bed there? A little cot
oh
in
my
the corner?
God, we had beds. I slept in chairs. Sometimes I didn't sleep.
How long have you been doing this? How long is
Well, we have been open since last year. So last year, all the young ladies that came through our home, they all had boys. Every last one. So I don't know what this year is going to bring. This year is actually a little bit different. Last year, we kept the girls in there, and they were able to stay up until 6 months after their pregnancy. But during that year, we seen that most of the girls didn't have their education, so they couldn't get the jobs. We were working with Full Employment Council, trying to get them placed in jobs and things like that. And that's what the problem came. They didn't have the education, so there was those barriers. So this year, we kind of did some restructuring of Angel Eyes. So what we're doing is we're doing kind of the sort of like the rapid housing approach, to where we want to focus on getting them into a home first, so that way when they do have their child, they're bringing it to their home instead of bringing their child back to a shelter. And then after that point, we want to completely focus on getting them educated. We added a career development program. We used to have just a pregnancy and parenting program, but now we have a career development program, and that's going to help them to get either their GED, go on to get some type of post-secondary education, some type of trade. So we really want to enforce that more, just continuing their education, because we can put them in a home all day long, but it's just going to repeat that cycle.
Are you staying in touch with the girls who've already left the home, the girls that were there last year? Are you constantly in touch and kind of more like a mentor to them?
All the time. I get text messages all the time. One of them came over yesterday just to eat. So
brought the baby, I hope.
Yes, she called me and she's like, "Can I come and visit you?" I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely." So she brought her son, and at 11 months he's walking.
Oh,
but
my gosh.
It's adorable. So he came over and she spent probably about 2 hours with me, and we just talked and got caught up. And her son was playing with my grandson. Actually, my grandson was just running circles around him, but they were having fun. So I keep in touch with them all. I don't do the Facebook friend thing because I want to keep it more of a professional thing, but we do talk on the phone, or either we may text message each other and things like that.
How do you fund this?
Everything that I fund has been me. I work so many jobs. I do so much. We get small donations here and there, small grants. Because we're so new, we just get a no from everybody that we apply for. But yesterday we attended a reception through Sister Circles, and we received a grant from
we had them on
so
recently.
They are some amazing group of women. So they just gave us a great donation to help us out with the career development
terrific.
program. But we're always trying to get help. We're always trying to seek to get monthly donors and things like that to try to help us to keep the house going. Because right now I'm like the jack of all trades. I do everything. I teach the classes. I'm there as the house parent. I'm there as the cook. Well,
Miss Nancy's helping out, right?
Everything.
Yeah, Miss Nancy,
So
tell us what you're
help.
doing.
What I do, we had a Rainbow Tea fundraiser by August 3rd, which it was on a Saturday. That turned out to be really good.
So raising funds.
Yeah, we raised
You're helping
funds.
with that. Good
Pressure's
for you.
on, Nancy. We need some money.
Oh,
yes,
we do.
We trying to get it together. We're going to have a fish fry before it get cold. And I'm behind that.
Oh,
She's
my
a great
gosh.
cook. She is a great cook.
So how can those of us in the community help you? Do you need volunteers? Of course you need financial donations.
Absolutely.
But elaborate on that. How can we help?
definitely need volunteers. We need, now that we have the career development program, we need educators, someone that's willing to come in and help teach the young ladies or tutor them where they may be stuck on certain sections of the high set exam and things like that, helping and talk to them about getting ready for college and things like that. We can always use help, handyman help, because I'm doing it all right now. I've kind of have so many cuts, bruises.
Oof.
Miss Nancy yells at me when I climb out on the roof to fix things. So.
Makes me nervous.
Yeah, so I can definitely use that because the home needs a lot of repairs because the city is always on me. So I'm always trying to keep up with things. And by us not being so new and not a lot of companies and the community doesn't really know us, we're not getting a lot of help from that. So we definitely need that type of help as far as a lot of repairs and stuff like that.
Well, it sounds like you have a website, right?
Yes.
AngelEyesKC.org.
Correct.
And I think it's so appropriate because you truly are an angel.
Thank you.
Just to think about what you've gone through and to be able to relate to these women, that they can get the help they need and the inspiration to get past this tough time in their life is just wonderful. So
thank you.
Congrats to you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for what you're doing. And we want to thank you for listening to KC Cares, Kansas City's nonprofit digital resource. We're produced by Charitable Communications, a 501c3 nonprofit organization. And KC Cares is generously underwritten by the Ewing Marion Kaufman Foundation. KC Cares podcasts are available at kccaresonline.org. If you want to be a guest or underwriting opportunities, hit our website. You can spread the love and find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KC Cares Online. Thank you for listening to KC Cares on ESPN 1510 AM and 94.5 FM. And thank you, Matt Stewart.
ESPN Kansas City is KCTE Independence and K233DM Raytown. 1510 AM, 94.5 FM.